Okay, let's talk for a minute about improving website conversion or increasing sales for your company after someone comes to your website. And let's talk about getting the absolute ideal customer into your place of business using a program called Ready Buyer Radar. And that might be relevant for you. So let's take a minute and walk through that. But I hear common complaints. People feel like there's frustration because their website's not converting. They're thinking of dumping their website entirely, going towards something they call a funnel. And a funnel is nice because it channels your web visitor just down one place. It takes them where you want them to go, show them the one product you want them to see, make them do the one thing you're hoping they'll do, and they don't get confused by so many options on your website. That might be a good idea for some people. But I will say this, you are looking for a conversion, whatever that might be. Maybe it's a click, maybe it's a phone call to you, maybe it's a visit. Maybe you're hoping that they'll put in their contact information, their name, their email, their phone number, so you can get with them and show them whatever it is that you do. Now, sadly, a lot of this web conversion is so poor, it reminds me of the sand sifter where you scoop up a big bunch of it and you shake it and out falls all the sand. Website conversions across the board are somewhere in the 5 to 10% range, meaning 90 to 95% of the people that you somehow got to your website left without converting. Now, I have a way that we can mark and track every single one of them. We can continue to sell to them, tell your story after they leave, and be their last person that they see when they're ready to make their buying decision. So that's what I'm going to show you today is we're going to talk about that. And what I want you to think about between now and then is, what does a non-conversion cost you? What's the opportunity cost of not making the sale to that person? What if that person left you and went to your competitor? But, what resources did you spend to get someone to your website? Are you doing pay-per-click? Are you running, over-the-air media on TV or radio? Are you doing billboards? Are you in the mail? Are you doing PPC? But what resources did you spend to get them there? And then, of course, the opportunity cost of not selling them. Not money to expand your business. You don't have the money to run an advertising campaign to grow your market share, knock your competitors out of business. In fact, if you do all of these things and help strengthen and awaken a potential customer, and they leave you and go to your competitor, strengthening them, hurting you, no wonder a lot of business owners I talk to just want to put their head in the sand and not look at it. It kind of makes me think about this old adage where you can count the seeds in an apple, but you cannot count the apples in a seed, because you not only have this one sell with the person that didn't convert, but this is not the last time they're going to buy whatever it is that you're selling. So you of course aren't going to get the follow-up sell. You aren't going to get the referral sell from the people that they know. You're not going to get the referrals sales repeat business or their referrals. It just goes on. And again, no wonder business owners are putting their head in the sand and trying to ignore what's going on. Well, let's find a way to solve this. But first, let's talk about the buying process that human beings go through, no matter what they're buying. Sometimes this is a quick, process. Sometimes it's slow and deliberate. It depends on the product and it depends on the buyer. But over here on A, on this letter line on the left, is the first time someone thinks, maybe I'll buy that thing. Over here on the right at Z is when the money changes hands, and in between is the process they go through. In the very beginning, they're considering options. Maybe they don't buy something, maybe they rent it or borrow it from their mom or their neighbor. So they're making decisions on buy, rent, buy now, rent now, don't buy. They start to ask friends and associates for recommendations around about H. Over here on maybe L and M, they're starting to narrow the solutions down. They're not going to buy that thing. They're going to buy this thing. They're not buying a car. They're going to buy a truck. They're not going to buy, then they're deciding if they're going to buy it new or used. And again, they're starting to narrow down. Decisions are coming soon. Round about T, they actually make the decision that they're going to buy the thing. And now it's just a matter of from who and when. So round about W, we've got vendor selection, and they're waiting for the just right time, and then the money changes hands. And again, with some buyers it goes quickly, in some industries it's slow, but they're going to go through the process at whatever speed. So there's a second process that the borrower has to come through for you to become the obvious choice. Now, relevance to your market is a process. To be relevant, you have to be known first. After you're known, you have a chance to be liked if you're running your business the right way. And if you're liked, you might become the trusted provider in the area, the default where everyone wants to go. Now, to become the obvious choice, you're the person, the business, where people say, I'd be an absolute fool to do business with anyone else. And in fact, they become an evangelist and they want to make sure that their friends and relatives and neighbors only buy from you also. And that's a great place to be. Well, the experts tell us that a customer needs 8 to 14 marketing touches or exposures to your company to arrive there, and it won't happen before that in most cases. So let's look at this relevance process where we go from knowing to being liked and perhaps being trusted. And this is a number line that we're going to run it on. Of course, with the one over here in the freezing cold, the first time they hear about the company, can start to get to know us a little bit. As they get to 8 and 9, it becomes neutral. They sort of can like it, starts to become warm 10, 11, 12, and hopefully we're trusted and liked over in 15, 16, and hopefully that's about the time they're going to buy the thing and they can buy it from you because at that point you are trusted. So these two tracks, these two cadences go at a separate speed. So they're going to go through their buying decision process at whatever speed they're going to go, and they're going to go through the buyer, knowing, liking, and trusting the relevance process separately also. And so hopefully for you, they might get to know you, hear about you right about N, and then they get enough touches and exposures to your company that when it's time for the money to change hands, you're trusted enough to be the one. Ideally, you make that happen, but sometimes it doesn't happen. So what if the process is such that the buyer doesn't know about you until T? They don't hear about you. And if that's the case, you've got a lot of work to do to become the obvious choice. And this is, I think, one of the reasons why people's websites don't convert, why they feel like it's a dang leaky bucket. Because here they come and they, maybe on the third touch, they hear about you, maybe on a referral through Facebook. They come to your website to look at you and they don't see what they want. They're not ready to buy and they bounce. And so it's not just your website's fault. It's not the colors. It's not just the graphics. That could be a part of it. But they just aren't in a position where they're going to convert because they don't know you. They don't like you yet, and they certainly don't trust you yet. And so sometimes maybe it's just a visit that's early on, but that certainly bounces them off. And so, here's a visual. Maybe the first interaction they have with your company is here at about V, where they've just decided they're going to buy. But man, they get maybe 5 or 6 touches with you when the money's changing hands. All you can hope for is maybe they buy from you the next time. And so let's talk just a little bit about maybe why that last visitor didn't convert. No one knows. There is some reasons. I mean, maybe it really was only their third touch and there's nothing that you could have done differently at that minute. But what we do know is there's psychological factors that help us narrow down why someone doesn't convert when they're on your site. So one group of them, a big group of them, are looking for reputation information. They want to do business with someone that they can trust, and the way they can know if they're trusting is through reputation. So they'll look to third-party reputation for validation. Maybe they didn't see it on your website and they bounced. There's another group of people that are just looking for a deal. They've already decided they're going to buy and they're looking for the best value, the best deal, a coupon, something, buy one, get one. This is this group of people. And then there's a third group that maybe was looking for just a less promoted service, something that you maybe had on your back page of your website and they couldn't see it, obviously. Or maybe they just haven't heard enough of your company. They just need more branding and more touches. So what we do is we put in place something we call conversion rescue. We build a conversion ecosystem around them. And I've already given you some ideas about how we do it. One of the things we want to show them is lots of 5-star reputation validation so they know that you're a trusted business. You're someone that other people have had great experiences with. Another thing that we want to put in front of them is specials and deals. Sometimes they need just that. There's a group of people looking for that. And then we'll do some branding or give some product alternatives to these visitors and hope to scratch their itch. If we're showing them these 3 different things, we're going to work on getting them sold. So we're using, you've probably heard of, or maybe you haven't, something called retargeting or remarketing. And the example might be if you were on, say, a website, your favorite shoe website, you were looking at a pair of shoes that you didn't buy. Suddenly you went away and you went in a website online, Salt Lake Tribune or whatever, and there it was over on the side. There's that pair of shoes you were looking at. It continues to follow you around. That's called retargeting or remarketing. And that vendor is hoping that you'll click that ad and go back and buy those shoes. Now, in your business, it might be as simple as, man, I just didn't buy, so I want to see it again. This that I'm providing is a high level, graduate level conversion for these folks, where we're not just showing one thing and hoping that we get them with our price or just a renewal or reminder that this is something they were looking at. We show 10 different ads over a period of time. In this example, it's 90 days. And we want to go at 3 different psychological factors. So we're going to show them some 5-star reputation experiences that people have had. We're going to give them a discount offer, maybe a percentage off, or maybe give them something free. Maybe an add-on of a warranty, extended warranty or something. And then maybe we do some product or branding ads, show them something else, or just give them some exposure to your brand. And we're going to alternate when we're showing these things to them over the next 90 days. Maybe we show them 10 days at a time, 7 days at a time. And if they weren't necessarily looking for a deal, but they wanted the reputation, then we're going to scratch the itch for the reputation. If they wanted something free, we're going to scratch that itch. Or, man, if they just needed some touches or more exposure, this is what we're putting in place. Now, how we deliver this is through these ads that you see on your phone, on your tablet, on your personal and your work machines. And this is through not just websites, but also through apps. I was running through Twitter. I clicked on a SI article, Sports Illustrated. I was scanning through the article, and there's one of these little ads right there in the middle of this article on SI.com. So all these folks are gaining money for putting their content out there. And this is going to go nowhere but up as far as popularity. Our company has access to 95% of the available advertising windows that are on the market. Google itself is the biggest network, but it only has 30% of the advertising windows. So our other 23 platform, program networks give us access to the other 65% of these available windows. And so we're going to be able to show our different ads in so many different places where your potential customer, your web visitor, is literally going to feel like you are everywhere, because wherever they go, there you are. And it's so intelligent because we're only paying to be advertising people who've been to the website and shown interest in what you have. We're going to scratch the itch on whatever it is that they're looking for, and we're going to overcome something called banner blindness, which means if you're just showing them the same thing over and over again, they're going to stop seeing it eventually. So we're going to swap it out and again overcome the banner blindness. We're going to scratch those different psychological itches, and they're going to just be left with, my gosh, look at the size of this advertising budget. It must be immense, but it's not, because it's only for them. Very, very powerful stuff. And then there's this recency bias thing where human beings tend to buy from the last vendor that they saw. And it's just because they saw them last and they're like, oh yeah, I'll go buy it there. Sure. So we want to be there, available, and be right there right before they make that purchase decision. And we do this by showing them 3 to 6 ads per day. And man, it is right there. We're ready to go. Let me show you just an example of the different sizes that we create for them, because there's actually 17 total ad sizes, but the last 7 are pretty obscure. We use 10 sizes. Some of the lower level, entry level retargeting only do 1 or maybe 3 sizes, but we do 10 different sized ads so we can again be there wherever they are, so we can be involved for them. And let me show you, if you're not familiar with this, let me show you a quick live preview on, say, the Weather Channel. I like the Weather Channel because it's got 6 different windows available. So right up here in the header, you can see it. Over here, this is a double skyscraper, so it's really large, get your message across. And then the most common one, the 300 by 250. And then here's just a center page. It's a footer that's in the middle. And then again, you find it at the bottom. So psychologically, if they are in the market for this is a kickboxing gym, they're going to see that. They're going to see that that 5-star, and these reputation ads convert really, really well and make a big difference for what it is that they do. And it would have made more sense if you would have been able to see this. Oh man. So here's the top one. Here's that double skyscraper. Here's a 300 by 250. Here's the footer that's in the center, and then this footer. So lots of different sizes. I'm kind of embarrassed that it wasn't on the screen. So here's the other 10 sizes that you'll see. Anyway, that's where we deliver those things. So it's really good stuff. So let's say this. Let's shift gears just a minute. Now, of course, that's our conversion ecosystem, and we're going to continue to convert those people over the next 90 days to the point where they're ready to buy. And if your industry is a little slower sell cycle than 90 days, we can stretch that out too. But what would it mean for you, for your business, if we could target all of the customers that walk into your competitors' locations? And this is what we've got here. It's the ability to leverage your competitors' sales and marketing efforts because they've done whatever it took to get their buyers to walk onto their site. What if you could legally steal sales from them when they're in store and ready to buy? Because I believe the highest quality prospect is someone ready to pull out their credit card. This becomes what a laser targeted prospect. And so what if you had the ability to target and advertise just to those people when they are there, giving them the, a special, an incentive, hey, come and buy it from me. I'll give it to you, cheaper or faster. This is something that we call Ready Buyer Radar. And it's very cool. If your customer goes to a place physically before they buy something, maybe you're in the jewelry business. People like to go to jewelry stores to look at the settings and try them on. Or maybe you're in furniture and people want to walk into a showroom and measure a couch to make sure it's going to fit just right in that place. Or maybe you're a dermatologist and you do Botox delivery and people are in every 60 days. We can target your location using a satellite. And this Ready Buyer Radar uses 3 different systems. One is a satellite to mark a location, and then anytime someone is on location there, we can send ads to them and continue to advertise to them through those networks like I showed you. We call it Ready Buyer Radar, and it allows us literally to snatch people who are ready to buy from your competitors away and bring them to your location and buy for you. And this is leveraging your competitors' ad spend, and put sales into your pocket. It's very powerful. I talked to a business owner yesterday, and he said that should be illegal. It's almost not fair, and it is. It is legal, and you should take advantage of it. This structure, the way this is delivered, is absolutely proprietary. You're not going to see it anywhere else. And the way we do it is just amazing. You're going to legally steal from your competitor's location and drive them back to you right as the credit card is ready to come out of their wallet. No more efficient place to spend money on advertising. Here's an example of the way it works for a Mercedes dealer in the South here in the United States. These guys decided to track an Infiniti dealer nearby, a Lexus dealer, an Audi dealer, a BMW dealer, and they also tracked a Center for Performing Arts. Now, this thing that says converted, that means that someone was on the Infiniti dealer's lot and came to Mercedes, and that constituted a conversion. So they got 20 from Infiniti this month. This is the first month. They got 6 from Lexus, they got 4 from Audi, and they got 3 from BMW. So that's, I think, 37 by my math. And these guys claim they close 40% of the people that show up on their lots. So that's about 16 car sales for them in their first month. Needless to say, they were ecstatic. They added another location and they're off to the races. Now, it's interesting that they tracked this Center for Performing Arts because this is a place where people who buy their type of vehicle congregate, but they're not ready in the market at that minute. So it wasn't great the first month, but as this moved on, this became powerful as well because we were able to advertise to their type of people, and even though they weren't ready to buy that minute, we were able to bring them back. So very, very powerful stuff for this dealer and continues to be strong for them. So if they aren't quite ready to buy, we can drop them right into your conversion ecosystem. So if they were on site at the place of your competitors, but they weren't quite ready, we can grab them, we can start advertising to them, and again, we'll put them in the conversion ecosystem and bring them along until it's time for them to buy, and they're going to buy from you. Once again, this allows you to leverage your competitors' advertising efforts and spending, and just take their money and put it in your pocket. Take those clients from your competitors right when they are ready to buy. It is very, very powerful. Of course, laser targeted prospects. Now, here's another thing you may want to consider. You may want to consider offense versus defense. Now, our proprietary program only leases locations leads to one business at a time. And so that Mercedes dealer, if they were paying to have their market, their business tracked, say Lexus got a hold of this, Lexus couldn't couldn't target the people on their lots. So if you want to protect your location from your competitors, we can absolutely do that. We can keep them from plucking your buyers right as all of your marketing efforts are coming to fruition and they're ready to buy. So we can lock up your location from your competitors, and they cannot steal from you. You can lock your competitors out. So that's a really powerful thing to consider also, is you not only lock up you, but you can also lock up the high value competitors in the market so no one else can track their people. So this is very powerful stuff. Just know that we can only track and hold each location for one business. So that's powerful stuff for you. Well, what about your story? What's your revenue per sale? And then what's the lifetime value of that conversion and their referrals? And what does it cost you by not having a conversion ecosystem in place? What's the lost sales for the 90% of the people that bounce through your website and you never get them back? Well, think a little bit about this, but know that this program is expensive. But I will say, generally, if you're paying to get traffic to your site, you'll want to talk to us. If your revenue per sale is large, even if your traffic isn't, you'll want to talk to us, because we aren't able to serve everyone. We just can't. We don't have the manpower to get everyone up. And so our timing is limited, and we only add a handful of customers each month. And so the way we manage this is we have an application process to make sure that we have a good potential fit for a working relationship before we get on the phone and talk through it and see if we're going to have a match. And so look for the application link on the page, fill it out, and let's see if we have a potential fit to put your business in as in a conversion ecosystem, and maybe establish a ready buyer radar so you can pluck your competitors' home buyers right back to you.